Hey folks, it's Gavin Seim. Just want to take a few minutes and show you Silver Shadows 2 in action. Really excited about this. It's been a product a long time in coming, and it's just so powerful and allows us to do these great silver conversions right in Lightroom without leaving, retaining all that quality, and it's a really powerful collection. I'm really excited about this, and there's been a lot of work that's gone into not only the structure and the organization and the efficiency of it, but just the subtle quality of the tools in it. So here's Silver Shadows 2 right up here, along with all its categories that are inside it, and nice organization and structure, kind of like my other preset collection. So you kind of have some unity going on there. And not going to get into how to install presets today, because over on the product page there's a link to the video on how to install and manage presets, and it goes into detail on all that. So we don't really need to get into that, but you can head over there and check that out if you're looking for how to install and manage those presets and keep them nice and tidy. Now, let's jump right in and just kind of look at what Silver Shadows can do. I just got a raw file here from Yosemite, and I'm just going to start applying some things and talking about some of the different features within Silver Shadows and what it can do. Bottom line is you can jump right in here, and you can see that preview flashing around in the upper left-hand corner, and you can just go in and start applying different effects and getting all these different blends and looks, and really have that control. And of course, if you see get somewhere you don't like, you just click that reset button and you start over. Silver Shadows 2 has really been refined, not only in the quality section, but also in the order of mixing and matching and blending. I mean, you'll see up here that I can apply this effect, and then if I go right up here, I have these separate grain tools. So maybe I want to apply some grain, I just quickly click there. And maybe I want to have no vignette, I can just clear a vignette, or I can add a vignette right here and have a lot of control very quickly. Let's just move on and kind of look at a couple of different images. It's one from the Grand Canyon here, and I'm just going to browse through and kind of look at the way the light and the channels are being mixed in this. A lot of variety, over 100 presets in Silver Shadows 2, because there are so many variations and subtleties to black and white, and a lot of organization and really kept tidy so that you can quickly get to where you want. Let's try one of the infrareds, like infrared X3, and just really kind of bring out these rims and kind of works with the tones. Now, the beauty is we're right here in Lightroom on the original file. So we haven't thrown away any information. It's all right here. And if you apply an effect, maybe it looks great. Maybe you want to come over to here and just kind of work with some sliders and settings and tweak things around. Because you're right here in Lightroom, you have all that control, and you're not getting multiple versions of files. You can instantly apply effects. You can reset. You can do batches, all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to bring up the brush, and I'm just going to burn this down a bit, because this area here is really hot. So I'm just going to darken this down, and I'm doing a little bit of a sloppy job here. I'm a huge burn and dodge guy, and sometimes a lot of times I go into Photoshop and do detail burn and dodge this. But just to kind of give you the idea and kind of put that into perspective. So it was just that quick. I just went over there, and the tools are already here in Lightroom, and by doing our silver conversions right here, we just have that much power and can quickly manipulate the things we want. Let's just move on and kind of mix it up a little bit. This is not an incredible image, but first of all, it has my 4x5 in it, which is awesome, and I love my Linhof, but it has a lot of different colors and different things going on. This is down in California, and let's actually look at the channel silver. Really excited about the channel silver category. These are CP, which is channel process presets. What that means is it only affects the channels, as in color channels, white balance channels. So it only affects those, leaving all the other settings alone. So you can apply a preset, and then you can apply a channel process. Let's say you've applied something and you like how it's working with your recovery and your fill light, for example. Well, a channel process won't change any of that. It'll just leave it alone. Kind of similar to the XI presets that came out in Power Workflow and Color Fantasies, and there are some of those in here too. XI presets leave alone everything of contrast and above. Well, channel process takes that to another level. It's effects that have been developed very carefully, working with channels to get the look without affecting those other elements. So let's just kind of flip through. You know, here's like Gavin's yellow 12. Gavin's green 58. I mean, channels are huge and oftentimes overlooked in Lightroom, and quickly you can get in here and have a lot of control over the subtleties of those channels, because it really gives you a lot of variations in an image. And all we're doing here is changing channels. It's not doing any of these other settings. So they mix and match really well. And there's kind of some different notations. You have the CP and the XI. And you can actually go to the product page on Seim Effects for Silver Shadows, and there's a drop down there that not only talks about all the different notations, but also how many presets are in each category, what each category is kind of geared towards. And with Silver Shadows, you can really just jump in and go, and you're going to get great results. But the more you get to know Silver Shadows, the more you work with it and understand the different notations and what the different presets mean, it's just going to make you that much more efficient. So we're just kind of going through here and getting all these different variations. Let's go back to Silver Classics, which is kind of a go-to starting point. There's a variety of presets here that are going to work for a lot of different things and just gives a jumping off point of some really high-quality conversions. And this is nice. Let's actually bring it down a little more low-key with the low-keys preset in Silver Classics, and it just looks really good with that one. This is actually one of the raw files from Sunsets, Hidden Falls in Yosemite. And again, we can just browse over and get these different varieties. And if you apply something that's a bit too much, quickly just hit your reset, and off you go. Just look at the channel process again, kind of see what we can do with those. Another thing to keep in mind with the new channel process is with presets, if they're designed for a raw file typically, they're not going to have the same effect on a PSD or a TIFF or a JPEG or something like that. So it's just the way Lightroom handles the different file types. Well, with the channel process, it's completely independent of that. So if you have a non-raw file you're working with, you can just go straight to those channel process and get really quality processes irrelevant of the format. And because they're only working with those channels and it's leaving the other settings alone that are different in Lightroom between RAWs and JPEGs, it's going to give you a really quality conversion. Let's actually go down to Dynamic Silver, which kind of has some tonal control stuff and tries to really maintain dynamic range in scenes. And I'm just going to use Dynamic Silver 1 and just bring out even a little bit more dynamic range in that, and you can see how powerful that is. So we can quickly go through, this is Gentle Portrait, and get all these different effects. And then, of course, you can go down here. If we go down, there's the Silver Tints category. Now, there's some of the classics in here, like Old Red, that do conversions and a tint. But then we have these new tone presets, again, coming back to that mixing and matching and functionality. And we can quickly, with a tone preset, it only applies a tone. It leaves all other settings alone. So we can apply any effect and then come down here and get a sepia or get some kind of a look, a cool look or a selenium look or whatever it is that we're wanting to do very, very quickly. Now, let's actually come back to these other ones that aren't done yet. And I'm just going to select all these. And the beauty of Silver Shadows 2 is, again, not only with the quality, but the efficiency. We're right here in Lightroom. I can just right-click, go to Develop Settings, and let's just go to one of the Silver Classics, like Outdoor Classic, and I can just, boom, and apply it to all these, and I've just converted all these images. And this is great if you're working with weddings or portraits or something where you have a group of images and you can kind of learn which effects are your favorites. And the more you work with them, the more you're going to get to know them. And you can just do batches and as many as you want and quickly jump in there and really have that control over your images. Let's just pop back into here and just look at a few more. Down in the hard silver category, kind of some of the more intense stuff, the infrared looks and the bold, rich looks. Let's do infrared X1, and then let's actually go down and do maybe a soft selenium on this. Or another favorite of mine is Gav Soft Platinum. I really like the platinum look, and it just gives a nice, real gentle tone. And then I might actually go up here and just dial this exposure back just a little bit. So you can kind of see where we're at with Silver Shadows, how much control it gives you. The beauty is that you have all these tools to work with. You can apply presets to your heart's content and mix and match, and you can do whatever you want because you're all within this Lightroom environment. You can do this all in your original files. You can fit it right into your workflow, and it has a huge amount of variety. The quality in it's phenomenal, and this represents years of work and experimentation with black and white in Lightroom to get the best black and white Lightroom conversions that are possible. And I'm really proud of Silver Shadows 2. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And of course, you can head over to SeimFX.com for the free sampler pack and lots more information and image samples and stuff like that, along with all the details on the different categories and how the presets work and things like that. So hope you enjoy them.